guests an hour do I have to handle, or is that an issue? Everything goes into the pot, everything gets hung up on the wall around there. By the way, every single one of them started as interns. Dave here on the left is now a senior executive, and Scott and Ellen are as well. But they started when they were in school. So then comes the hard work. 99% of your job is after the brainstorming is fun, and there's snacks, and it's crazy, and you're drawing, and sticking stuff up the wall, those cards on the table. Somebody has to then actually take those ideas and do something with them, put them into categories. Okay, here's a category of nighttime entertainment ideas we came up with. Here's the categories of who our target demographic is. Here's a category of food and beverage or merchandise. There's all kinds of different things. And then somebody, a producer, or the executive creative director has to then figure out how that all fits the story. So super fun, you're like really flattered when you're invited to brainstorming, but a lot of work. Next phase is research. So we had several Imagineers who spent a heck of a lot of time out on Route 66. Cars Land talks about the American Southwest. They never actually say where it is in the film, but it could be anywhere in Nevada, Arizona, California kind of area. So they went out to do research on a lot of things. What are the plants that grow here? What are the colors? What are the textures? Is it multi-layered? Is it something that existed in history and then was abandoned? Or is there wood over top of stone? And the folks you're looking at are all creatives. Sculptors, illustrators, photographers. So while they were on this road trip, just getting massive amounts of data, they took over 12,000 photographs and hours of video footage as reference to bring back to the other team. So you might want to ask, why don't they just buy a book? Right? Why do you have to go out into the field? A book is somebody else's point of view. Somebody else decided, this is how I'm going to tell a story of the American Southwest, and our teams really want to go out and understand it personally. What is the most important part of any of the stories or environments that we create? It's certainly not the rocks, I can tell you that, although they are spectacular. It's the humans, it's the characters. Well, they're not all human, but you said that. And so, has anyone ever driven Route 66 or know anything about it? There are so many characters. Route 66 is full of amazing people and interesting stories, a lot of whom characters in the movie Cars are actually based on. John Lasseter and his family took an RV trip across country. That's how he was inspired to do the movie Cars. So our Imagineers went out and met these people. They visited the shops and they designed our spaces to both reflect this accurately, but also as a bit of an homage to these folks. So what you're looking at is an actual place, and there's obviously designers involved in this, and the signage and the architecture. But then our designers take this and reinterpret it for our space. So the next thing you do is sort of an overview. You want to make sure we're all talking about the same thing. So, okay, we're going to build a land. It's going to be about 12 acres. It's going to represent the American Southwest. Here's how it fits into the rest of the park. Got everyone okay? So this is a phase where the concept art comes together so that we all have an agreed upon vision. But there's like no measurements there. Like if I told you to build that, you'd be like, build it out of what? So the next phase is moving into step by step, specifically what it looks like. So does anyone know what this is called? If there was a lot of them up on the board together? Storyboards. Woo! Once I used Tootsie Pops. That was a bad idea. Yeah. You live, you learn. Peppermint patties, by the way. We're going to throw candy. It's coming. We're going to throw candy. Peppermint patties. Wow, that was not close at all. So storyboards. Storyboards tell a story in sequence, but they're not just illustrations. They communicate motion, action, what happens, what the guest point of view is. And this is an example of some of the storyboards for an attraction we built to walk you through what is this actually going to look. Is this scary right here? Happy? Sad? Exciting? I mean, there's a lot in just this little picture about these colors, how the people are behaving, that give you information about physically what's it going to look and feel like. And guess what? What's that thing with the water? Special effects. We have a fountain, we have fog and mist. My special effects team needs to be involved in this. Here's another sketch from inside the attraction. Whoa, that thing is moving. How is that? And then we work with the show ride and engineering team on how is this actually physically going to work. There are sculpts that are made of these before they're made into larger things. There are projections that are part of this. Their eyeballs was a really interesting project challenge we worked on. What's happening here? Look how happy everyone is. They're so excited. Look, Luigi's actually jumping up and down with joy. So something is happening, there's a race, you can see the finish line, people are having a good, exciting time. And these are all communicated step by step, so everyone agrees what the path of the story is and what expertise we need to work on this. First we work on what's called scratch track. Has anyone here ever did any voiceover? Voice acting? By the way, that is an amazingly lucrative career if you can get into that. First we record it with just us, saying words, so that the animators and the builders can work, and then we actually get the actual voice talent in to do the voice that you expect to hear. But we do different phases. So if anyone has acting experience, but you happen to be a lighting designer for us, we will know that and call you in to do a fake Luigi. And then, what about night? So far everything we've looked at is Cars Land in the daytime. In the film, this was a beautifully neon lit sort of environment at night. So the concept artist worked on how important is that and what does it look like? It's become huge. Guests stop what they're doing at night at sunset when we hit the switch to turn this on. It's become an event because it is absolutely gorgeous. But until you work through this, that's not even a consideration for people. So then once we all agree upon what we're building and how we're building it, we build mock-ups, we build models. So Todd is a sculptor and he uses a variety of tools. He sculpts in, that's called green foam, which you don't understand because it's clearly yellow. There's sculpturing foam, there's sculpting in clay. We use a lot of 3D printers and laser cutters to make tiny little intricate pieces and parts and build this dimensionally. Then we ride a lipstick camera, because it's the size of a lipstick tube. We ride a lipstick camera through this to give you the guest point of view, and again, make sure we're all on board with the stories we're telling. Then we build the bigger version of it. So this is like that mountain there is about this big, and carved out of foam, and then that's when you get the paint overlays and the colors and the textures. This takes months. This works out all the design detail. See the up top there, Cadillac Ridge? Those are the tail fins on Cadillacs. This is where you work out those details, get permission from Cadillac to do that. And that's a heck of a lot of work. So then do we throw this away when we're done? We do not, by the way. Don't go rummaging through our trash. We slice it up and digitally scan it into a computer so we have a digital model of what we're all talking about. And that is new, right? We didn't do that back in the day. But we're now able to repurpose a lot of these assets, and this is where you bring in your computer animators and your 3D modelers. We also have a machine that we invented that we can put our 3D model through it, and it automatically bends the caging that makes these structures. So like a puzzle, it bends it, stamps a number on it, sends it out to the field, and we can build these giant cages. So this is what the 3D model looks like, and then you can start doing ride-throughs. So the gentleman who's got the 3D headgear on there, it's not very attractive, it's not meant for guests to see, it's just a tool we use. That is Lance, and he runs our machine shop. So he's in there to get some information about what should the vehicle look like, where should the steering wheel be, what's my point of view. This is also where we solve visual intrusions. So to the left there, over behind Cadillac Ridge, is the Anaheim Convention Center. And you don't need to see the Anaheim Convention Center in the Southwest, right? So what do? You build your mountain a little bit higher. But you work that out virtually first before you go into the field and have to do construction. And then you go into construction. This is actually in my bag because I did a walkthrough of Avatar yesterday morning. So then you put on your safety vest. Safety begins with me. And you go in the field and you start construction. This is probably 2 to 3 years after you started the creative process. But your artists aren't done. They're in the field with the teams. The Cozy Cone Motel was one of the things that we worked on, inspired by the movie. It's a quick-serve restaurant sort of area. That was what the artist's sketch looked like. And then this is what it looks like being installed. This is nothing that our guests are ever supposed to see. This is behind the magic, but this is all that's necessary to go into telling these stories. Luigi's Flying Tires, this is what it looked like during construction. This is the original illustration, which was a floating tire sort of vintage attraction. This is behind Cadillac Ridge. This is all the truss that needs to go in to make sure we have the support, safety-wise, to support tons of concrete that's on the front. And this is what the front looks like. We put in the cage work that was based upon the little model that we scanned. We cover it in cement, and then it's hand sculpted. We teach this class at Florida State University. The only university in the world that teaches a class in character sculpt, which is a weird name, right? Because you're not actually sculpting characters. And character finish is here at Florida State. We've taught it for 2 years. We've hired 5 interns and 1 full-time student here. Out of this, by far the best, well, he's really good, was an accounting major. He was an accountant who wanted to be an artist, took this class, and he's amazing. He's down in Orlando right now working on our Avatar land. But it's all hand trowels and fingers sculpts to make this. That's not a view a guest would ever see, but that's what it looks like as it's going in. But you can see, we're not just building a big sculpture, we're building a building with a ride in it. There's air conditioning and show control and tracks. And guess what? There's the Anaheim Convention Center. So this is an elevated view. When you're in your vehicle on the track there, you can't see that. But that's why we do those simulations before we go into the field, to make sure that that Star Trek-looking convention center doesn't pop into your field of view. And then we have opening night. We are really good about celebrations. So this involves our creative entertainment team. We have fireworks and dancers and the press, but your work's not done. Every single theme park, we have a field of in-team designers, which is what I'm doing right now, and at Disney World, who make sure to maintain the original show intent, update any shows, add seasonal overlays, technology and tools get faster, better, cheaper, and it's our job to integrate that. One of the projects I'm working on right now is, if we do a show review, like one of our engineers will sit in a boat and ride through an attraction and say, oh, that pirate's head isn't right, and the costume's been torn, we'll have to fix that, manually go through. One of the things I'm working now is an automatic system with vision systems and cameras to detect if things are not going right. And that way I can fix it immediately instead of having to wait for the show review. So the more we build, the more work we make for ourselves, which is good, because as I said, we get paid to put this on. But that actually is not what I do. All of those prior slides is not what I do, that is what I do. If you look at the people's faces here, very specifically, what anyone who's providing an experience, whether it's a restaurant or a dining experience or a themed experience, a zoo or educational experience, is what is the impact you're having on a guest. How you get there is safety vests and construction and artists and musicians, but the end result is this guest response, and that is why they come back, is that they have a positive experience with their family, usually positive experiences with human beings. Particularly some of our performers have fans, and they'll come and sit and watch hour after hour after hour every time a performer comes out because they're a big fan of the work they do. So all that other stuff is how we get there, and that's what I will hire you to do, to be a blank, but at the end of the day, that is what all of us are doing. Any questions? Who wants to be my intern? So there is my email address if you have any questions now or in the future. One thing I recently prepared is what I call my big Google Doc of awesomeness. I found I was answering the same questions for students a lot, because it is hard to find. So you want to be a parade former. How do you do that? I can send you directly to the website that lists all of our auditions, which is not the same as our careers website. You don't even know what you can do. You say, I'm a sculptor, but I like working on big things. I'm like, oh, how about building a mountain for me? So just be sure and contact me. If I don't have the answer, I can find out who does. But I also put together this document with hundreds of references. Who should you be Facebook friends with? What newsletters can you get for free that are interesting? What are these companies I mentioned, these hundreds of companies? Who are they? Where are they? How do I get in touch with them? They're all in this document that you are welcome to have to peruse through. Okay, bye.